For example, we have normal things like policies and procedures, but we have also an entire compliance organization that just works on anti-corruption compliance, to be able to trace money, who are we doing business with, etc. For example, on monitoring and testing, we have a digital solution, a digital service solution that we use where we screen everyone we do business with, both customers and suppliers and other partners, to be able to trace who is actually owning a company, who is the beneficiary of a financial transaction. Some of the partners fall into the red light there, so we can't do business with them anymore. Some of the customers do as well, and also some of the suppliers. An example, there was a hotel in Finland we used. It was owned by a Russian oligarch that was on the EU restriction lists. So the hotel is no more available for us. Sales compliance then, why do we do that? That comes from mainly looking into who are we selling to and why. So what is the purpose of the sale? What will it be used for? For example, will the sale, is it to a government or state-owned company, and what will they use the product for? And that's basically to mitigate human rights risks, because most of our products are dual use. So you can use them for good, but you can use them for bad. You can, the whole mobile and cellular technology is based on positioning people. So by using it for bad, you can know basically where everyone is that has a mobile phone. And we want to mitigate those risks. Responsible sourcing. How does our supply chain look like? Child labor, occupational health and safety issues in the supply chain, working conditions, etc. And then OHS, occupational health and safety for our own employees, but also for our contractors. The biggest risk we have there is driving. People crash their cars and die, mainly in India, but also in the Middle East. So we are really working hard on getting down those figures and teach people to act in a safe way. And basically, why do we do all these things? Is it because we are so nice? Yes, of course, one of the aspects is that. But also because we want to attract people, as we have heard before, we want to attract people to the company. You don't want to work at a company where you die or get hurt. We also want to be able to have a clean background on everything. And I will show you the costs, for example, of corruption. Corruption costs enormous amounts of money, both for societies, but can be also for companies. Looking at these figures, the 10 largest fines under the FCPA, that's the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, the US legislation on corruption, you can see that there is quite a lot of money that can be wasted from companies in fines. Money that could be used for dividends, for shareholders, could be used for development within the company or other stuff. Largest fine, it's in our business, a telecommunications company, almost $1 billion in fines. Approximately 25% of their EBITDA that year. A lot of money. So we don't want to end here. That's why we really dig down on these issues, because it's expensive. And this is only the fines. Then you can have the other costs, like increased cost, because you have to you have to investigate, you have to be in the court. That's a lot of millions. You have the revenue decreases because your customers don't want to get involved with you, etc., etc. So these are only the fines costs, but if you multiply or sum up all the different costs, it's end up much more than this. So this was more the negative, the risk reduction parts. What we also look into the positive. How can we actually go in and have a more positive side and benefit to the society, but also benefit to our revenues? Because looking at sustainability, it's not philanthropy for us. It was a long time ago. Sustainability was philanthropy. Sustainability is try to find new revenues. Go beyond, try to find new solutions, new business models, earn money. And one way to do it is through innovation, or just looking at the core. What is our core products, our core business, and try to innovate from that. Change business models, change some products. So for us, it's telecommunications and ICT, information and communications technology. This is our core business. So we can also see that ICT is one of those few businesses that can really change the world to a better place, and also bring us as a company revenues. So looking at the SDGs, the Sustainability Development Goals, is not like a big set of problems that we can't really do anything about. It's an opportunity for us to make money, to find solutions that we can sell. And that's a little bit how we look at this. It's not from a philanthropical point of view that we want to, I don't know, build a hospital somewhere and operate it, because we're not in healthcare. We're not a healthcare company, and we're not a construction company. We want to do something we can earn money on. And I have some examples, of course, 3 examples, but I will elaborate a little bit what we do here. We have one on water monitoring. We have looked into that quite a lot earlier, and not being really able to see how we could commercialize it. Now we have commercialized a first set of solutions under a product category called Connected Environmental Monitoring, where water is one. And this is basically an Internet of Things based solutions, where we have small sensors that record different parameters in the water, and as an end user you can see how the water quality fluctuates. But this is not enough, because those parameters you're looking at and can identify, you don't understand anything of those. That's the big problem. So you have to do something more. So the next part here is to introduce really interesting algorithms and AEI solutions, so artificial intelligence solutions, to be able to understand what actually is happening in water quality and changes in water quality. Of course, we look at it from an SDG perspective. SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, 11, sustainable cities, and of course 17, a partnership. And why 17? Because we're doing this together with partners. We're doing it with the City of Stockholm, we're doing it with KTH, which is the technical university in Stockholm, we're doing it with other universities, but also other companies. So it's a partnership solution that we're developing and commercializing to be able to sell. Besides this one, the water part, we are also looking into air quality. And as I understand, air quality is an issue here. And that's the same thing we're trying to build on a similar platform, an Internet of Things platform. Water quality, air quality, and other different environmental issues to be able to be monitored by cities or by other stakeholders. In the middle, we have a solution that we're looking into that's really interesting, called Ericsson weather data. And that is basically monitoring and measuring rainfall. And why do you need rainfall monitoring? We know how the weather is. Basically, we have radar stations. We know when it rains. Or why is it interesting to know when it rains? Our solution is based on existing cellular technology. It's called microwave links. You can see small radar dishes in the towers. Those are microwave links, and they're sending data from one tower to another tower. And those are sensitive towards rain, so we filter the disturbance and calculate the amount of rain. And this calculation, the data we get is much better and much higher granular than radar or other solutions. So you can have exact knowledge of where it rains and how much it rains. And what do you use it for? From the beginning, this project was really kind of a geeky small project. Somebody thought it was an interesting thing to do, and then nothing happened. Then we took it under our arms from the sustainability group, funded it, finding external partners, external funders, and have now looked into different business models and what could it be used for. For example, it can be used for, in many countries, for flood detections when it rains a lot. For example, a couple of years ago here, it was heavy rains that initiated landslides. Could be a really good pre-warning tool for landslides. It rains a lot, bigger risk for landslides. We have developed it, we are developing it right now in Rwanda as well, in Africa, in Central Africa. And there we have found some really interesting business cases as well. For example, for microinsurance, to be able to calculate insurance costs. We have been able to look into other business models looking into malaria detection, where the public entities and public organizations can use it to identify when a malaria outbreak will happen, because they apparently happen when it rains a lot. So we have different aspects on these ones, and it's a really interesting project. It will be commercialized early next year, and will be available then. Who will be the customers? Well, cities, insurance companies. It can be companies like Weather Channel. IBM owns that one, world's biggest weather data provider. So a lot of different customers and a lot of interest for those solutions. The last one is the Ericsson Emergency Wallet, and that's basically a twist on a mobile financial services solution that Susanne was talking about. Here we have taken mobile financial services, but twisted it for international aid organizations or international disaster response organizations. Like if it's an earthquake somewhere, UN comes in and you have a bunch of money that you want to give out to the people for them to be able to buy food or whatever. Most often that happens that the UN comes in with a big bag with cash and distributes the money. Problem is that somewhere there, the transparency and everything get lost. You don't know where the money ends up, how much is lost for corruption, etc. This is totally digitalized solution to be able to handle situations like that. So everybody feels better, no corruption or less corruption. You can identify it better, and in the end user can't be robbed because you have it digital currencies. So these are some examples of what we are doing when it comes to shifting like business models and including innovation and boosting innovation to be able to find new solutions, to be able to earn money and impact the goals. If you're more interested in what we are doing, we have, of course, a webpage, like many other companies, but we also report every year on our sustainability efforts. So please go in and have some more looks if you're interested. Thank you.